Hey everybody, it's Mark again. I hope everybody's having a great day. The purpose behind this video is to discuss putting bushings in a movement, and most importantly, the purpose behind a smooth cutting broach. And you really need a set of cutting broaches when you're putting bushings in a movement, but most importantly, you need a smooth cutting broach. And this video is going to discuss why a smooth cutting broach is so important. A lot of people don't have a smooth cutting broach, and I highly suggest that you get one. They come in different diameters, from really small to big, but I highly suggest that you purchase smooth cutting broaches. I have other videos on putting bushings in, and one video I have discusses putting bushings in using cutting broaches, not reamers, broaches. And it's the cheapest way to put bushings in a clock. And so kick back, relax, grab something to eat, grab something to drink, grab something to smoke if you choose to do so, and let's learn things. So I'm fixing to take this movement back apart so I can put bushings where the second wheel goes, and hopefully that resolves my issue. Now the pivot diameter on one side is 1.57, 1.59. On the other side, it's 1.65. So you have to, let me measure that again. Yeah, 1.65 and 1.6. In my assorted KWM bushings, I got this one right here, which is 1.7, which would work, but the height is only 1.4 millimeters, where the plate thickness is 2.8 millimeters. So I have assorted bushings, and I picked this one. I'll have to broach out the hole because it's too small, but the diameter is 3 and the height is 3 also. And so I've got videos on how you use cutting broaches, but you got to start with small, then next and next and next. So I chose a KWM reamer, and the bore diameter is 2.7. It will get me there almost. I just got to take a little bit more off, but I will get started using this. Make sure that your hole's not oblong. Stick it in and make sure that you're perpendicular to the movement. And take your time. The part where I screwed up at all the time is where I get in a hurry. Now, some people will, and I might, put this reamer in your cordless drill, and what I would suggest about that is using a low speed and drill it in, but not turn the drill on to back it out. In this case, I can do it because I still have a little bit to cut off, so I will probably put this in my cordless drill. But if you are using a reamer for an exact bushing that you want to put in, turn the drill on slowly, push it in, but don't turn the drill off on when you pull it out, because if you hit the side of the walls of the hole that you just got through broaching, it will take another portion off of the side of the wall, and your bushing won't fit in as snugly as it should. Here I have the reamer and my drill. I turn my drill on slowly, let the drill do all the work, keeping the bit perpendicular with the plate. And it's a thick plate, so it'll take a while. And like I said, if you're got the exact cutting broach, reamer, or whatever for the hole, you don't want to turn the drill back on to take it out, because it will take just a small thin layer off and your bushing might fall in the hole. But in this case, I still have to take some out of this hole, because remember I told you the diameter of the bushing was 3 millimeters. The diameter of this cutting broach was 2.7 millimeters, something like that. So I still got to take another 0.2, 0.1, 0.5, something like that off, so the bushing fits snugly in the hole. I told you the diameter of this bushing is 3 millimeters. So you want to select a cutting broach that is just a little bit smaller than that. This is the best cutting broach, but it is 3 millimeters. So I want to measure up and turn while I go, and I want to tape it off. Because the thickness of the plate is 3 millimeters, you have to go from the, because this is tapered, it's smaller here and it's thicker here, you have to work both sides of the plate. You go in from the rear side so far, and then you turn it over and go the same distance. That way, if you just go in one side, because it's tapered, your bushing's not going to fit in there. You have to do both front and back. And let's say I go 2.8 from the front. Because it's tapered, I have to turn it around and go 2.8 from the rear. That way it's going to be nice, and the hole is going to be nice and cylindrical, however you say you pronounce that word. And that way the bushing will go fit in better. It won't be forced to come out. So I get this thing taped off to where the end of the tape is 2.85. That way I can go in one side, 2.85, and turn the plate around, go on the other side, 2.85, and it gives me 0.15 millimeters left to put the bushing in. And these pin vices work great, but you can't tighten them up that well. You'll have to use pliers to tighten them up, such as pair of vice grips and whatever, and tighten them up. I already tightened this up, because if you don't tighten it up as you turn it's going to slip in the pen vise. And after you get your hole where you want to use this tool, which is called a chamfering device, and you want to chamfer both sides of the hole. That will take away any burrs that you might have. Smooth as a baby's butt. If you have one of these staking set tools, which is used for watchmaking, and if the part fits, it's great to use. That way you can set your bushing in. And you take it off this block of wood. I personally, because it's thicker, I got the oil sink where the oil sink needs to be. I push it down until it's smooth. I can feel just a little burr on here, so I'm gonna push it back the other way just a little bit. Actually, I'm not, because this, I told you I wanted to push the wheel toward the other way. So I'm actually going to push this down some more so the wheel will be pushed the other way. Now I have to bore out the hole. That's what cutting broaches are for. Again, you gotta determine the size of the pivot, and this pivot for this particular side is 1.51. So I need to get a cutting broach and then use a smooth cutting broach, because you don't want any burrs inside the hole. That's what the smooth cutting broach is for. That way this thing spins freely inside the hole. And the biggest mistake people make after they put the bushing in and they have to broach out the hole for the size of the diameter is they will push and use too much force, and you will push the bushing right through the hole if you get in a hurry. So take your time. And because the hole is small, I have to start off with a smaller cutting broach and work my way up. So it will take time. Don't get in a hurry, or your bushing will get pushed right out the hole. Now, I told you the diameter of the pivot that we're working on is 1.56, 1.57, something like that. So I already used my first cutting broach. Now here's my second cutting broach, and I have a piece of tape marked at around 1.58. You want to spin this thing around while you're measuring it. 1.59. I am going to put this thing in my drill, and I'm going to let my drill do all the work, but I'm going to do it slowly. Let the drill cut the piece for you, do it slowly. And remember, I told you you had to flip the plates around. So I'm going to continue doing that off camera. The hole is kind of critical, but not that critical. It's not as critical as the diameter of the center of the hole is not as critical as the diameter, the outside diameter of the bushing for the plate. So that's why I chose to do it with the drill. If I take a little bit more off, you don't want to take too much off because it won't pass the tilt test. But go slow. Let the drill do the work. And as you can see, it fits. It doesn't tilt that much. My last step is using a smooth cutting broach. And to take off any burrs. And again, you have to go both sides because it's tapered. And do not, I repeat, do not push this thing. You will push the bushing right out of the hole. Let the cutting broach do the work for you. And you always want to check for end shake and to make sure this thing spins several times after you do a bushing. If you don't have any end shake, it's very possible that you have a burr on the inside of the plate. You might have to file it off. But I have end shake, and it spins freely as it's supposed to. Now I have to do this bushing, and it's a little bit, the hole is a little bit smaller, and so I'm going to do that off camera. And by the way, I have several videos on doing bushings. I have a video on how to use KWM reamer set, and I have a video on how to use cutting broaches. The person that I learned from, Bruce Rasmussen, and his VHS tape. Yes, I said VHS. For those of you who don't know what a VHS tape is, Google it. It's what we used to watch videos and home movies on. It was after the 8mm setup. But in his general clock repair video, and he's a master clock repairman, he shows you how to use cutting broaches. And it's a cheap way of doing bushings. This set, I think, was like $15. In the video, I show you the part number from Time Savers, how much it costs, and then you have to buy pen vices, and I also suggest that you buy what is known as a diamond reamer set. It looks like this. It's tapered. You could use your drill, because when you're working with Bushings, a lot of time the hole is extremely small to start with, and with using these cutting broaches, and this is not the smallest one, but when you have a small hole, you have to go from small to next to next to next. That's where these diamond reamer sets come in handy, because they're sharp at the tip, and they go down to about 2.12 millimeters in diameter. So they help out to prevent you from going from small to the next size to the next size. They save you a lot of time. But like I said, I show you how to do things cheaply. Whether you absorb the material or not, it's up to you. I just put this bushing in, and now the tilt test works better. I'm happy with that. And so put the plate back on and test it for end shake. You always want to test for end shake and to make sure it spins freely. It has end shake, but it doesn't spin freely. So that means I need to broach the hole out some more. Now I'm using my smooth cutting broach because I don't want to make the hole any bigger, but it spins better, but it still don't spin as much as I want. So I need to use the smooth cutting broach on it some more, because there's a burr in there that's stopping it from spinning several revolutions. And now when you spin it, it spins several revolutions, so I'm happy with that. And that's why you need to buy smooth cutting broaches. This is a smooth cutting broach. It's tapered. It's kind of like an Arkansas stone. It does have some cutting on it, but it clears out burrs. If you were to take a broach and broach out that hole some more, then because the part fits in there, if you broach out the hole more, you're going to make the hole bigger than what you want, and it won't pass the tilt test. And so the smooth cutting broach is a must to allow your wheels to spin freely. Why it's making the noise, I'm not quite sure, but I'm sure when you put oil on it, it'll take care of that. But again, smooth cutting broaches, and they come extremely small, such as this one, which I kind of bent it a little bit, but see how flexible it is. You have to have a set. I take that back. You should have a set of smooth cutting broaches for cases like I just showed you, where the wheel doesn't spin freely, and it's because there was a burr in the hole from using the cutting broach, and so you want a smooth cutting broach to take care of those burrs. Now it's time to put this movement back together, re-oil it, because I took the movement apart, and put it back on my test stand and see if it works. I hope you are enjoying this video. I hope that you're learning things. You know, I make mistakes all the time, and I hope that my mistakes helps people learn. This is a pen vise, and when you order them from Time Savers, this is the box that they come in. Set of each, 121, 122, 123, and 124, and that's what they hold. And there's the part number, 19685.